Solitude can become loneliness. This happens when all by myself, I'm deserted by my own self. Isolation has its advantages and disadvantages. The whole world is urged to hunker down. As the truth and awareness of the crisis arising, a sense of weirdness is beginning to set in, lean into oblivion. Something is emerging beyond the horizon, finding connection and resilience during the pandemic.
We live in this imaginary land of the internet, and we are imaginary at this point. We're not living genuinely as we could be. And like even right now, like there are so many opportunities in our community to help others, and people are even afraid to take those opportunities.
Yeah.
I put out an offer to teach anyone who wants to know how to make bread or basic sauces, because there's not a lot of groceries in the grocery store, and you only need 3 or 4 ingredients, and most of them you probably already have. And if someone needed yeast, I probably have extra. Like I'm happy to share. And only one person took me up on it, and it's like I can offer this remotely. I can do it through text, through phone calls. We can get on, like Minds has Gathering, but we also have Hangouts.
Yeah.
We have all these face chat.
Where'd you post this at?
On
like,
Facebook.
How did you do this? Okay.
On like a community Facebook group.
Yeah.
And then I posted in another group as well that is meant for women without mothers, where we had abusive mothers, and so we don't really have that support system. So I put it on there as well, because I was like, these are people who might need this. Not everyone knows how to make a roux, and if you know how to make a roux, you can make almost anything, right?
Yeah.
Satori? I mean, like, and it's only 3 ingredients, and most people are going to have these ingredients, and if you run out of one of those ingredients, I mean,
It's funny, actually. It made me think of a story. I saw a friend of mine posted. She's really into like doing all this home baking and stuff, and she didn't have any flour, and she'd obviously been out to the shops to try and get some flour and couldn't get any. Obviously it was like it's becoming one of the scarce items to get. And she actually said, would anybody be willing to trade something for some flour? Because she said, I really want to bake some cookies and I can't, because I can't get any flour. And then she got all these like messages saying, would you trade it for this and that? And like this whole bartering thread appeared from nowhere. Massive thread of people saying, well, I'll give you this and I've got a bit of flour. So she didn't just get like one person, she got like a whole massive number of people all offering her loads of flour in exchange for other things, which I thought was quite interesting. So I thought that's probably what the way we're going at the moment. It's like a lot more of that sort of thing is going to be happening.
Yeah, I mean, this is all kind of crazy about like what's going on right now. I think initially, because even myself, I feel this way. There's this kind of initial shock that has kind of like set in, and people kind of like deal it different ways. And the way I've kind of been like formulated in my own head, I feel like kind of like the beginning of a, like I've been phrasing it different ways, but there's always this initial period of like when I take like mushrooms, I have like this anxiety, this antsiness. So first you have the anticipation, and you're like, okay, we're gonna do the shrooms, and you're all happy, right? And you're like getting everything set, and then you actually eat them, and you're waiting the 30 minutes, 40 minutes for them to hit.
You feel a bit like anxious.
You feel anxious, you have anxiety, and then you're like messing around with your hands. You kind of don't know what to do, and you're just like, what the fuck is gonna happen? You have like no idea. Like, did you take enough? Did I not take enough? Is it hitting me? Oh my god! Is that real or is that not real? And like nothing has happened yet, but you're just like anticipating, holy shit, I'm gonna get blasted into hyperspace or something. And I feel like we're like collectively like there right now. Like something, it seemed like one day. I mean, I remember a couple weeks ago when fucking Mike Pence was in charge of the coronavirus here in the United States. I was like, holy shit, this is not gonna end well. I think it'll be a good idea if we stock up our freezer with food. And I was like, nah, we're not gonna need it. Like nothing crazy is gonna happen. And then like every day, slowly, I was like, holy shit, no one knows what to do. Like, what the fuck is gonna happen? And then like slowly but surely, then just one day, it was just like, oh, it's a national emergency. Oh, older people shouldn't go out. And then by the end of the week, it was like, fuck, California shut down. You can't go outside.
Right?
just,
God, it went so
just,
fast.
it just like flipped a switch, and everybody was kind of like
Yeah.
anticipating it, but no one thought it was real. And then it became like a new reality, all because it was just said, and everybody understood. Kind of like there's a whole kind of like this disassociation that's happening too. So like that's like one part, but then there was also too like I also framed it as like the like reverse of it, of kind of trying to see like how we all are and how it feels in the air, like this weirdness and this strangeness, and it feels also too kind of like I was writing about this. I don't know if I have the writing with me, but it was something about, when you're like sick or you're hungover, and the next day like you feel all right, but then like you don't feel all right, and
There's
you're like,
that
oh
weird sort of paranoia feeling that you
yeah,
get when you're
yeah,
hungover. Not the
yeah,
physical sickness. It's like this weird paranoia, like when you have a really weird drugs come down and you're like, oh, and everything.
yeah,
It's like you're hypersensitive to everything around
yeah.
you, almost like a
We're
hyper aware.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then you as I related to food. You're like, I haven't ate all day, and I didn't really eat that good last night because I was drinking. I should eat something, and you're trying to convince yourself, oh, whatever your favorite thing is, like pizza or whatever, like, oh, that sounds good. But then when you sit down and you try to do it, it's like, oh, this is not good. Like it doesn't really even matter what it is. Like normally you would like this thing, but for whatever reason, everything just tastes flat or stale or
yeah,
wrong or off. It's because you're off, but then like everything like you're trying to like convince yourself like, oh, everything's cool, everything's this, but you're saying it, but then like when you sit down with it, it's like everything just slightly off. Everything is just slightly tastes like if when you're hungover, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter like you
yeah,
like this thing, but then you try to ingest it and it's just like, nah, there's something wrong with it. There's something wrong with me. But then it's like something wrong going on, which is also interesting to see. Like what Rose was saying, I've been on Facebook too more, and in the local groups, right? So the city I technically live in is Monterey Park, but I live like on the edge of East LA and Monterey Park. So, anyways, I'm in those in that group, and then it's so interesting to see how now like those groups. I was in that group prior to what happened, but now that it's happening, that group is finally like alive. But then again, I don't think anybody knows really how to use it either. They're like, oh, just posting like tips. I mean, the most interesting thing is the meme game, all crazy right now.
Coronavirus! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Shit is getting real! Shit is real! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Shit is getting real! Shit is real! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Shit is getting real! Shit is real! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Shit is getting real! Shit is real! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Shit is getting real! Shit is real!
Hold up.
Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
Memes are everywhere. And some of them are pretty funny. But it's just there's this strangeness in the air, and we just don't know what exactly is going on, you know? The whole world is urged to hunker down as the truth and awareness of the crisis arising. A sense of weirdness is beginning to set in, lean into oblivion. Something is emerging beyond the horizon, finding connection and resilience during the pandemic. As we self-isolate, we move past the loneliness into the solitude of being alright within our own skin. We have to dig through the rubble and the broken shards of past selves. If you can't go outside, go within, lean into oblivion. Who am I? What have I become? What does this all mean? What is waiting for us in the mystery of eternity? Staring at the screaming abyss. As each passing moment gets a little lighter, a little brighter. Lean in to oblivion. Are you writing notes on where all this began? Can you pass the acid test?